Joining us now on Blitz is head coach DeeDee Dillard of the Lady Wildcats here at Rabun County. DeeDee, thank you so much for your time. This is always one of those interviews every year I look forward to just coming out here and talking about your team.
Yeah, we love having you. So always have a good conversation and keep me on my toes a little bit.
Yeah. You do a great job and do a great job with this team as well. This program, just in your 12 years here, has just been phenomenal. Year in, year out, doesn't matter who comes through the program. And we talk about that a lot, but another good year. You're 21-5. You went 8-4 in region play. I know you wish you could have some of those back, but how would you assess this season? Going back to how you maybe saw it coming out at the beginning of the year.
I'm pretty okay with where we are right now. Obviously, there were a couple of games that I thought we should have won. You hate to give away close games. I thought our games at home against Putnam and Banks, we had every opportunity to win, and we just didn't close the deal. So you'd like to have those two back, but at the same time, I was talking with my family last night. We're sitting here at 21-5, and we're disappointed with that. Yeah. So I think it tells you a lot about the expectations of our program, the expectation of my girls, and really the expectation of our community of what we're going to be able to do. But it's like I told the girls last night, we have every goal in front of us that we set out to accomplish this year. So the region championship is still in our reach. Yep. A state run, deep playoff run, that's obviously still attainable for us. So, I don't think at this point we can look at the losses. We just have to figure out, what can we do to do better the next time we go out and compete against Banks County, which is coming up this Thursday. So that's what we'll focus on the next 2 days in practice. We realize we're still kind of growing as a team, which is exciting. Yeah. But, as a coach, sometimes you're like, okay, we need to kind of get where we need to be. And we're probably not quite there yet, but it could happen Thursday. I'm pretty confident in where we are. And
that's actually where I was going next is, what are your feelings coming off of the win over Social Circle? Because I remember I saw last night, I looked at the score at halftime, and I was like, uh-oh, but I knew you were going to pull away at some point, but it was a little closer than I think you would like it at the half. But then next thing you know, you win by 30 points. Yeah,
definitely not how we scripted that game. But after the game, I told the girls, this should show you that you can't take any game for granted. You can't take any possession for granted. We have to play with intensity and focus every single possession. You have to play like it's your very last, and that like we talked before the game about just having your backs against the wall and how you respond to that. And I think ultimately in the fourth quarter we kind of really finally grasp onto that, and that's when we started to pull away. But in some ways it was good. We had some players get to come in. We had a little bit of foul trouble. They get to come in and experience tournament setting and games. So hopefully that will pay off for us.
And how much of this year, because you look at the games like last night against Social Circle, sometimes it's also being in this region, everyone gets better because you have 3 top 10 teams in the state with yourselves, Banks, and Putnam, and Elbert County's not bad either.
Right.
I mean, you got a tough region, and we talk about it a lot, but you add on top of that, last year you make the state title game, so every game this year, you're going to get everyone's best effort. They want to knock down the team that went to the state title game. So how much of that plays into how tough, this region is?
Absolutely. I mean, I do think this year in AA it's probably the toughest region, and hopefully that prepares you for tournament play. I think obviously teams want to beat you. I feel like we've had kind of that target on our back for the past few years, and it's magnified because of the success we had last year. But I just try to keep my girls grounded. Like, we're not last year's team. We can do just as much as last year's team did, but we can't compare ourselves to what happened last year. So, teams get excited when they beat us, and that's fine. I get excited every win. So, but I think, it kind of magnifies our losses. I think people expect us to win every game, and we didn't win every game last year, but we still gave ourselves a shot at a state title. So, if that'll happen, I don't know. We're going to have to execute a little bit better than we did last night. The girls realize that. It's not anything that they don't know already. So, we've got some work to do the next couple of days in practice.
Yeah, I think that's dead on what you said. I mean, 21-5 is awesome, but for y'all, you get that feeling that that's a little bit of a disappointment, although it's still incredible. So just a sign of a great program. But I know also what plays into some of that this year has been the health of the team. I know Brooke Hendricks was such a key piece last year, and unfortunately lost her to, I think, an ACL or MCL there, and was out most of the year and is just now getting back. What can you talk about on her health right now?
Yeah, I think mostly it's just her regaining confidence in her knee. It's not really her basketball ability that's still there. There's moments where she plays just like she did before she got injured, and then there's definitely moments where I told her the other day, you know, you're playing just a little bit safe.
Yeah.
Just that fear of being injured again,
Yeah.
and that's totally understandable. I'll say last night I thought she played as natural and loose as she has since, you know, in the past 2 weeks that she's been kind of gradually returning to get some minutes for us. But so that was positive. It was encouraging, and I hope that she'll build on that because she can fill a void for us, even if it's just a few minutes here and there. That, you know, she just has the length and the ball handling ability to kind of create some mismatches for teams.
Is she going to be limited in any way down the stretch now, or?
Yeah, I mean, we talk with our trainer every day, so it's really just how he feels. Like he's at every game, and last night he was there and watching, and he'll evaluate what he thought about her performance and kind of how her knee feels today, and then we'll take it from there. So it's really just a day-to-day. Some games he lets her play a little bit more than others.
I can imagine, or I can't imagine, but I can kind of put myself in that position. But the mental aspect of coming back from injury like that has to be a hurdle of its own.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I've always heard that it takes 2 full years. 1 year is a physical recovery, and then it's another year just to mentally overcome that. So, but if anybody can do it, Brooke can. I have so much confidence in her, and so I think last night she had 10 points and 7 or 8 rebounds. So
awesome.
that was really good to see for limited minutes.
And talk about, you know, I think people that aren't, you know, well versed in how this program is and from year to year, knowing the roster, you know, top to bottom, but people forget that this is actually a young team for you. You only have 2 seniors. You know, it's not like a couple years ago when you had a good handful that, you know, pretty much all your starters were seniors. This is a young team. Talk about, you kind of alluded earlier how you've gotten to see them grow this year.
Yeah, it's been exciting. When you see 9th and 10th graders really bloom and start to develop, I mean, what I love about them is they're not afraid to work hard. And so that's the most, you know, exciting thing as a coach is that you kind of put any challenge in front of them and they take it with both hands. So that's been fun. You can see it when we play, though, sometimes. You can see that inexperience because even with Jordan and Jaden being seniors, they didn't start last year, and so that's a different role. It's a different responsibility as a starter, like getting the game going the way it's supposed to in the opening minutes. So, I mean, I've been really proud of how much they've grown to just as leaders because you have to have that in a successful team and in a successful program.
Yeah, and talk about Georgia a little bit. She is, I mean, I can't believe 1,000 points in a career is awesome in itself, but to do that in your junior season, that's pretty awesome too. So talk about what the limit is for her. I mean, is the sky the limit for her, and how proud you are of a player like her to be able to make that commitment to Presbyterian as well?
She has earned it. She has worked her tail off. Georgia's very goal-oriented, and every year, you know, I kind of have a postseason meeting, and I tell them where they are, and I give them their season stats. And for her, I don't even think it was about reaching 1,000 points. I think she looks at her shooting percentage, her free throw percentage, and she's like, that's not good enough, and I want it to be better. And so for her, it was never like, I want to score 1,000 points. It's just, I want to be the best player that I can be. And she is a kid that will work hard and work tirelessly until she reaches that goal. And so even now, as well as she's shooting, she still doesn't think it's good enough. I think it was Friday when we were playing Elbert. She said, Coach, I missed 2 free throws tonight. So she was like 10 of 12, but she's like, I missed 2 free throws tonight. And so it just talks about her character and how much it means to her as far as just wanting to be the best for her team, because it's really not about her. I mean, obviously she wants to push herself individually, but she has always wanted to be a Lady Cat, and she's wearing her cousin's number, Miley Duval, who also played for us back when Coach Bird was the head coach, and who tragically passed away when actually the day of her college graduation. So, I mean, for Georgia, like, this program is part of a legacy that she has wanted to be, you know, involved in her whole life. And so it's more than just wins and losses. It's more than just stats. It's really just who she's always wanted to be.
It's a story all in itself.
Yeah, her mom was also number 22. So in this program,
That's cool.
So yeah.
That's cool. And I understand you always have a motto every year, and from what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this year it's "Are you the one?" Talk about what that whole thing's about this year.
Sure. Well, I actually pulled it from the youth pastor at Clayton Baptist Church. He had sent me a devotion a long time ago, and it was "Are you the one?" And for whatever reason, I just was thinking about it in the off season, and it talks about the story of John when he's in prison, and like this is John who actually baptized Jesus, so he knows Jesus pretty intimately, and he's in jail at this time, and so he sends his disciples. He's like, "Can you go make sure that this is Jesus?
Yeah.
Like, are you the one?"
Yeah.
And that's what the disciples ask him, like, "Are you the one?" And Jesus said, "You're not going to know I'm the one because I'm telling you. It's because of what I'm doing, and I'm going to show you through my works what I'm doing." And so I kind of challenge the girls, like, that's really where we are. Like, people, even last year was a long time ago in the minds of people, and so they're looking at us like, are we still the one? Are we still the team to beat? But individually, I need kids who will step up and say, I'm going to be the one to grab the rebound. I'm going to be the one to get all the loose balls, because we definitely had some big shoes to fill. But anyway, I think it's just, you want your kids to step in and fill roles. Yeah. And so I challenge each of them individually. What are you going to do to fill the shoes of Savannah and Hallie and Tessa and Summer, and then also Brooke with her being absent? We can't dwell on what we don't have. We have to work with what we do have. And so just individually as a player, you have to say, yes, coach, I'm going to be the one to fill this role.
And maybe this is redundant, because off of that, this kind of answers the other question I have for you is, what does this team have to do to repeat last year's run? Because what a phenomenal emotional run for you. I mean, everyone was so happy for the program, the community, but you too, you put so much work into this, and to see the fruition of that last year going to the state title game, you know what it takes to get there. And when you look at this team, what is it going to take?
I think it's going to take more consistency. There's times that we are really, really good. And there's still times where I feel like we've taken 3 steps forward and then we take 2 steps back. And mostly it's just execution. It's understanding where to be on the floor. We've battled some foul trouble. We've battled some sickness. So hopefully with a full healthy team, that's going to kind of go a long way as well. But I think all in all, we just have to understand that we have to take care of the little things. Like, we're not very big this year, especially with the loss of Brooke on the perimeter. And so it's even more important that you box out. It's even more important that we get the loose balls. Yeah. And it's like I said earlier, you have to treasure every possession, and you have to play like this is it. If we don't take care of, we don't get the defensive stop right here, our season's over. If we don't score right here and get a good look at the basket, our season could be over. So I think just playing with a little bit of sense of urgency and understanding, how badly do you want it?
Yeah, well, you have a great recipe for success here, and I can't wait to see how the region tournament plays out. I know it's a huge game Thursday.
Yes.
Wish we could be there, but we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that, and I know it's going to be a big one. But congrats again on yet another great year here at Rabun County.
Thank you.